This is Noob.
This is Solo, the one and only true god master of anime. Um, Back at it again to talk about the worst anime I've ever seen.
All right. Yeah, that's an exaggeration all the way around. But this is episode 19, and in this episode, we are covering Danchigai. Danchigai is a Japanese 4-panel comedy manga series by Kazusa Yoneda. It was serialized in Ichijinsa Seinen manga for Coma Palette from June 2011 to September 2021. The series received an anime adaptation, which aired from July to September 2015. That anime adaptation is what we are going to be covering today. Just a brief summary of the plot. The story revolves around Haruki Nakano and his 4 sisters, Mitsuki, Yayoi, Uzuki, and Satsuki. While they may seem monotonous aside from the fact that Haruki's sisters do not give him a single opportunity to rest, lecturing him about every perceived mistake and playing tricks on him, he still loves his life. So, with that being said, Solo, what was your overall first impressions?
Well, this is definitely the worst anime I think I've ever seen. And if someone likes anime, I challenge them to watch this, to really question how they feel about the genre. I think today's conversation, we're not even going to talk about this anime. I want to kind of hijack the conversation and talk about anime tropes that ruin a good anime. And we can kind of reference how this anime kind of shows everything I hate about anime into one package of like the tropiest nonsense that basically gives anime a bad rep. The reason that some people can't get into the anime, I would call this the dark side of the anime world. Like if the anime world was this beautiful utopian thing of beautiful art, this is the exact opposite. This is complete and utter dog shit trash, and it's everything that's bad about anime combined into one, while short, package. Which is the only good thing about this, is that it's so short that you can watch it all very quickly. But that aside, it did take us like a year to cover this because the whole premise was we were going to cover a really short series because we were getting overloaded trying to watch actual quality anime. And in that time, I've realized that it's better to, watch a good quality show just in taking your time with it than it is even to watch something like this, because sometimes watching something like this gives you such a bad taste in your mouth, you almost want to give up watching anime altogether. How was your opinion?
I think your opinion was a little hyperbolic, just a little bit.
What?
I thought this was a really great show. I really love this show. I've actually watched it 4 times. What's great about this show is since it is so short, it is such an easy watch. And because of, I think the creators of the show did a really good job with the 1 to 2 minutes per episode that they allotted themselves. Because literally each episode was like 1 to 2 minutes long. And in that time, they establish a plot. In some cases, they have to introduce characters for the first time in the first few episodes. Like they're introducing characters and establishing relationships and stuff. And they made it enjoyable to watch. I'm having a hard time figuring out how you couldn't enjoy this, because it actually is going back to what you said about shorter series that we agreed on covering. This was the ideal series for you last year, because you did ask me, find a show that was super short so that you wouldn't have to sit down for 6 hours to watch the normal 12 episode series we were covering. I actually found stuff shorter than this, and maybe we'll talk about that sometime in the future. But this show was not only extremely short, but I thought it was really enjoyable. I thought the storylines were really interesting too. This is basically just slice of life, but slice of life elevated to the next level, because everything, normal slice of life anime that I think we've even covered some. It has to have some extravagance to the plot. There has to be something that goes beyond what you would expect in a typical slice of an ordinary person's life. And this show is just a dude and his four sisters and their daily life in their small apartment building. So I thought it was really well executed. I thought the show format fit the types of stories they were trying to tell. And I thought the characters were just really well written.
I couldn't disagree more. Comparing this to a slice of life is actually disrespectful to the slice of life genre as a whole. Like, it's actually pretty much the exact opposite of slice of life. I mean, but you have to explain more now that we've gotten our just kind of opinions out of the way. Like, is this when the intro you said this was based on a manga, but you said something about a 4 comic strip,
A 4-panel manga. So basically, like, you have 4 panels for the entire manga.
So, like, each chapter is 1 manga page, or like
basically.
So it's pretty much the equivalent of like the comic strips in newspapers.
Yeah.
Explains why this is dog shit. And how many chapters are there of the manga?
Let's look that up.
I was a little confused because I thought that was the case with this, but before this, I opened one of the chapters and it appeared to be a regularly formatted manga. That's why I was very confused, because like I opened up chapter 1 and it looked like a full-fledged manga. But then I saw reference of that 4-page panel thing too, but I didn't add up in my head. So I don't know what this is based off of, and I feel like I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think the anime like covered the entire manga. It just picked a few stories.
I was saying something that there's like hundreds of chapters, but if they're 1 pages, that's different. If they're unless they're actually fully fledged chapters, that's what I wanted to know, because there's apparently a lot of them. There's like 8 volumes or something like that on the wiki.
Yeah, I think this each volume probably has several several panels. Each panel is like their own story. So, well, each 4 panels, so each page basically is its own story.
I still, that doesn't, but if you open up the manga, it doesn't look anything like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
That aside,
yeah, I mean, maybe we can come back and do a follow-up sometime if I can get a hold of the actual manga for this.
Definitely not.
I think that would be a good follow-up, just seeing how faithful it was to the manga.
I'm never, ever, 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 ever doing that.
Was there any particular well, before we get into the stories, what did you think of each of the characters? We can start with your what did you think of Haruki?
There are no characters in this. This isn't a real show. This is a joke. This is bullshit. This is literally trash. Do you not understand that? I've seen more character development in anime intros than I have seen in this entire series.
Well, to be fair, most anime intros are longer than each episode of this series.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is... No, I mean, everything... I can't even say... none of them are characters. They're tropes incarnated. They're not real characters. Their names are meaningless.
They really were fully fleshed out characters, in my opinion.
They're not. They're literally embodiments of, like, anime tropes.
I mean, the only thing close to a trope I might have seen is, I think, Yayoi was, like, kind of tsundere, but she grows out of that, like, you know, in like several different times throughout the show. Like,
I want one thing to be clear: anyone who likes the show is a fucking degenerate, and this shit is complete trash. This is like literally a disgrace. I would be ashamed if someone walked in and I was watching this. This is disgusting. This incest subplot shit. I've literally, if I wanted to watch this, I would watch a hentai. Literally, I've seen 1 episode of a hentai, which is way better than this entire series. And plus, it actually is, at least gets to the fucking point. This shit is disgusting, and like there's little children, and there's heavily incest type of things, sister love bullshit garbage.
What incest type of things did you get out of this? That's crazy. Like,
That's not
it
crazy. The
literally is.
entire and like in Japanese humor in general, I hate comedy. Like my biggest complaint of anime, which we could do a whole discussion on this about how anime is not fucking funny. It's not funny. Anime's not supposed to be funny to me. I don't watch anime because it's funny. I watch American cartoons for funny. South Park is funnier than any anime ever will be. Even Family Guy, even the most dumb dog shit American comedy is better than 99% of anime comedy. And maybe that's a cultural thing because a lot of the stupid anime trope jokes and comedy that they do with their stupid little reactions and shit is childish and fucking stupid and it's not fun and it takes away from the plot. Maybe I'm a little butthurt because like I'm watching Bleach and it's embarrassing showing it to someone who doesn't normally watch anime when they literally cut in the middle of the fight and it's just some tropey ass comedy skit between two dumbass annoying characters. But watching a show like this just reinvites my fucking anger and hatred of this part of anime, this disgusting part of anime where it's about nothing but stupid jokes and the slice of life part. It's not even interesting. At least slice of life, the best slice of life anime always have some kind of interesting angle to keep you interested. That maybe one
This
character's
show
off, or
had
one
that too.
character is like a god, or one character there's a mystery. Like those are the best slice of life anime that have a little bit. It's like normal life, but then there's a
I would
little
like I would
something
probably
special
say
going on.
that when you get to like the type of shows you were just talking about, you kind of lose the slice of life bit of the show when characters are beyond extraordinary. Then it becomes either a fantasy or a supernatural or something like that.
Well, that's the point though. Like regular slice of life, the interesting thing of slice of life done well when it's molded with another genre is that it's the counteracting of it's like a regular life, but then this other thing's going on, but then they treat it like it's regular life. That's an interesting dynamic that makes it kind of interesting to follow. Like Angel Beats is kind of like that, but of course it dives way deeper into the supernatural. But like the premise of like just having kind of a slice of life story, and I like extremely down to earth realistic story without any supernatural stuff too, if it's done really well where there's actual drama. But this isn't drama either. This
There
is
was
just
drama built
complete
up in each episode, so I
no,
think
this is
we
complete
should talk
nonsense,
about
a waste of
it
time.
like episode by episode and go over the drama that I would like to talk about because this show does have some genuinely interesting
Here's
drama in
another
it.
interesting thing. I watched half of this show, if you want to call it that, like when we originally were going to cover it, but I didn't finish it because I was so fucking bored. I was like literally terrible to watch, forced myself to watch. And before this podcast, I forced myself to go through the episodes. And guess what? I've already forgotten everything because it was pointless. There was nothing happening. Before you know it, it's over. The intro's playing, and then you blink, and the intro's there. And it's so short that nothing happens except some weird incest shit where they're wanting to fuck each other. And literally half of them are like 5 years
I
old.
don't know how you got that out of this show. This
I'm
was
just
like
saying, like, this is the
probably one of the first recommendations I think we can both. I mean,
here's what I would say. I think that the FBI in the United States should have a list of people that click on this link on Crunchyroll and watch this, and they should be put on a list because this is fucking sick, disgusting, pedophile, degenerate, online, creepy, weirdo shit, and this is the type of shit that people with anime profile pictures on Twitter like to watch and jack off to in their free time. And it's disgusting. And you might as well watch hentai.
I can definitely say I disagree with you
I
on that.
respect people
This
that
show was
watch hentai. Hentai has better story and characters than this, and that is a disrespect because hentai is made to be none of that. So this is disgusting.
no, this is a really I think lighthearted. I would say like warming, like a really warm type of show. It's probably one of the first breaks that I've taken away from what you consider the harem genre since we've started the podcast.
Fuck off.
'Cause
This is literally a harem.
you
It's
said
sister love
every other
story.
show I covered was a harem, and I never wanted to cover anything but harem. And
This
then
is a harem.
no, this is just straight up slice of life, and I would say
Not.
this is probably the most slice of life show I can think of. There's nothing supernatural going on in this show. There's nothing like extraordinary. The characters aren't outlandish or like just out there. These are down to earth characters. These are realistic, like everyday situations the characters are put in, and I think they're normal, natural reactions that the characters have to them. It's just
So I'm on my anime list right now. I wanted to share this random person. Their name's like Lance Holt. Their review. They were talking about. They said they think that the creator must have been an only child because only someone without siblings would imagine it being like this. Basically, an incel, degenerate weirdo who
wait,
has a
is he
sister
saying
love
that in his review, or
fantasy.
is he saying that now?
No, this is in his review on my anime list is where I'm seeing this. And yeah, and basically it's just a incest sister fetish show, and it's just disgusting. It's not appropriate, it's not funny, it's just disgusting. Even if you like incest, this is still not tasteful. That's like it's wrong on every level. That's
I
all I have to say. Like this
I
show
I
isn't
feel like we
good.
were watching two different shows right now
This
because
is not very
this
good for anything.
yeah, this show I thought was very good. Like I said, I've watched it a few times. It's a show that I was like, man, this for 2 minutes an episode, they did
I'd
a lot
rather
with
read
that
Charlie
runtime. They
fucking
made
Brown.
characters that I actually thought were all genuinely likable characters. And they had what,
No.
like, even despite what your little rant about anime comedy and stuff, there were some genuinely funny moments throughout this show.
I don't laugh at any. No anime is funny. It's very rare, and usually when it's funny, it's like funny because it's like making fun of itself. Like One Punch Man is the funniest anime of all time, but it's also good because it's not only funny, it's also a good story with good soundtrack and good characters and interesting story. This isn't funny and it's dog shit and it's annoying and like nothing is redeeming about it at all. The art style is not the ugliest thing I've ever seen, but
The art
again,
style I thought was really good.
the
You gotta remember this is like
fixation.
based off of a 4 panel manga series. So that art style you would usually be a lot simpler than that. The art style, especially for the show, they and what they did in 2 minutes. The show had some really good art. I thought the animation was maybe kind of lacking at certain parts, but they definitely probably didn't have the biggest budget on Earth.
Do
So
we know why this was even created? That's the question. Was this created for like a event? Was this like a DVD extra to an actual good anime? Like why does this exist? How does this exist? Like I don't understand. I need to know the history of this because this to me just seems like a waste of fucking time.
No, I think this was I am kind of interested
Apparently, there's an
myself to know.
OVA episode I missed too, so I didn't watch the OVA.
Actually, I did. Actually, yeah, I did see the OVA. I'm reading the description for it now. I have seen that, but it wasn't on Crunchyroll when I went back to watch it today. So I don't know where I saw the OVA at.
Either way, yeah,
But
it's
like first of all, let's go over all the characters. I'm gonna give just my brief opinions on every character, and then you can afterwards let me know what you thought of each character.
I
And then
refuse
we
to
can go.
acknowledge them as characters, so I
Yeah,
can't.
yeah,
I will not
yeah.
acknowledge these like
You're
vessel
you're you're you're
cells
you're 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 being
as
a little
characters.
you're being a little extreme,
Listen,
a little bit.
maybe the
Um,
manga is better. I mean, looking here because I've been looking over the manga. It looks better. I mean, I found here like actual manga chapters, and they're like full length chapters. So again, I'm just the mystery deepens. Like this looks like a legitimate manga, which actually makes this fucking mockery even worse because this manga actually looks like it has like a storyline. Maybe that actually has continuity and carries over more. But maybe not. Maybe it's just random bullshit every time too. But even still, like this isn't a real story. These aren't real characters. But I mean, you can go ahead and share your thoughts. I mean, I'm just
I'm actually I'm looking at the manga panels now, and the manga looks really good. I still think the show looks really good, but I always appreciate just going and like even for shows that I've watched, going back and reading the manga because the mangas usually have
well. There's
better art. Like they have
126
more.
chapters, so and I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
this covered like 12 of them.
Yeah, so we might be doing a follow-up, just for the manga
I'm
and
trying to
stuff.
see if he actually fucks them at the end of the last chapter. Doesn't
You're
look
you're
like it.
being hyperbolic. This isn't like some incest type of stuff
Wait,
like
he
it out to
he
be.
wrote this series for 10 years? It took him 10 years to finish this?
It's
Oh
it's
my
it's a
god.
good series. I would actually like them to produce more episodes. I would be
Apparently it
down
just
for more
ended in
seasons.
2021.
Yeah, I would be down for more seasons of this. I think this is probably a hidden gem of a show. But going into the characters, let's start with Haruki. I at first I was thinking Haruki was just going to be your typical high school type of protagonist, but he's actually got a lot of depth to him. He seems to be kind of what I liked about it is they did kind of make him more of a normal type of brother in that he does love his sisters, but he at times cannot tolerate being around them. He's he's never really like spiteful or mean to them though. Um which is kind of amazing considering how just kind of savage that Yayoi can be to him throughout the show. Well, I'll get to her in a minute. Mitsuki, she was probably the only character that was like a little bit outside of like any kind of realism. She was a little too perfect, but I think what grounded her as a character is that she did show her weaknesses, at least to Haruki. So it did kind of um like wash away that mystique of like perfection that she initially shows at the beginning. Yayoi, like I said, she probably did exempt show off some tsundere tropes here and there. But later on, in the later episodes, especially episodes that were focused on her, you saw her fleshed out quite a bit, and she was more than just the like tsundere type of character, but she had like multiple dimensions to her personality. And I'm gonna talk about actually I'll talk about them separately. First of all, Uzuki, I think a lot of the humor in the show probably came from her. She was a pretty funny character. Especially the episodes where she was putting the hair clips in Haruki's hair, and she said, I think, oh, I forgot. She said, I think it was her teacher or something, said she shouldn't treat other people bad and stuff. And then Haruki's like, "Why are you treating me bad?" And then she said, "Because it's funny." If she was an older character, you could probably say, "Yeah, that's kind of mean." But just because she is so young and stuff, I thought it was kind of adorable. And Satsuki, she is probably I'll be honest, probably like the least interesting of all the characters in the show. She was still interesting at points, but I feel like she kind of blended into the background in a lot of episodes. I did like when we did get more time to see her character really fleshed out more. Like the episode where it was like her and Haruki were both interested in this manga and anime for this character called DC guy. You remember that? Um,
What are you talking about?
like Satsuki, she was like the little girl with the bluish purple hair.
Yeah, what about it?
Like you remember like the episode where there was like this Haruki picked up this manga called DC guy, and as soon as he got home she wanted to read it first.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Haruki's like, well, what if we both read it together, that way we can both she immediately knocked that idea down. um so yeah, that was like another one of those humorous moments, but it was also a moment where you get to see like Satsuki's a lot more than just a background character. And I would have, if we do get more episodes, I would like to see her character specifically fleshed out a little bit more, because I feel like her character did kind of blend into the background in a lot of episodes. But with that being said, give me your impressions on each of these. If you don't want to call them characters, you can call them whatever you want. Just what did you think of each of these characters?
As I said, I don't acknowledge them as characters. I think the main guy just wants to fuck his sisters. I think the oldest sister is a fucking slut. I think the twins are fucking annoying, and the other one is forgettable and pointless.
I really am having a hard time trying to figure out how you came to that. Like,
But my waifu is the middle one.
Yayoi?
I guess so.
Um,
Because she's the only one that's not completely fucking annoying every episode. But she's also like 5 years old, so.
oh no, you're talking about one of the twins?
No. I'm just saying, like, all of these. The oldest sister is like a 9th grader or a fucking freshman. Like, this show is literally about like 12-year-olds, dude. Like,
Yeah.
all the characters in the show are like 14, which is weird. Even more so than normal.
But still,
basically, this show is just it's really bad. Like, I mean, it's really fucked up. And the fact that it's all about incest and there's no other plot going on.
There was zero. I would like to establish this for like all of our listeners who probably haven't seen the show, that this show has nothing to do with incest. And I personally, as a guy who has watched this show 4 times, have no clue how you're coming to this conclusion. Like, at no point in this show was like any kind of incest ever implied. I just want to make that perfectly clear.
It's literally not. Like, they're literally on top of each other, like, talking about fucking, showing her tits and ass, and, like, literally main like, hardcore sex jokes.
Like, where did you come up with this? Oh, man. Wow. Let's
literally episodes where he's, like, his sister's on top of him, and they're, like, in bikinis dancing around him.
You're talking the bikini episode.
There's an episode where she wants to kiss him.
Make sure you give some
context. There's an entire episode where she says, "Oh, brother, please make out with me because I need to have my first kiss."
No.
You were probably sitting there jacking your dick.
Add context.
There is no context. It's 3 seconds long.
No. There's context there. First of all, she was supposed to be playing like some princess in a play. I think it was like Cinderella or Snow White or something, right? And actually, it was one of those two because she said she got one confused with the other at the end of the episode. But in that episode, what she was saying is she had to like do a kissing scene in this play, and she didn't want to embarrass herself, so she just while she it was kind of like, maybe she went about it the wrong way, and Haruki called her out on that, which kind of breaks up that whole incest angle that you're going for.
Listen, there's like a boundary of sister love in anime. It's one thing to have the trope where the little sister loves the big brother, and that's like adorable and fine. But they crossed the line far too much in this show, and it's disgusting and despicable.
Yeah, we obviously. I mean, like, if you go into this show,
would you show this to your mom?
Yeah, I would. This is not like this isn't the type of show that
this is the kind of show
your door and watch late at night, like on with the volume turned all the way down and your headphones on. This isn't that type of show.
When we were kids and anime wasn't as mainstream, and there were some shows that you just didn't talk about because you could get bullied for. This is the type of show that people deserve to get bullied for. Like, if there's a kid right now in middle school who just watched the show for the first time and they say something about it in their friend group at school and they fucking get their ass beat, they deserve it.
No. See, this
this is the reason bullying exists. This shit is disgusting. This is terrible. This brings a shame to anime. This is basically, again, that is what this whole episode is about to me. It's not even about this dog shit of a show. This show just highlights everything wrong with anime, and it's just terrible. I mean, and also the fact that it doesn't even complete the manga story, so it's not even, it's just like whatever. It's just this weird thing. It shouldn't even exist.
A lot of manga and light novel adaptations never get complete anime adaptations. Most of the time, it's just like maybe the first few volumes, or maybe just the first volume or something, and that's it. They just make it to promote the manga, which is probably why I mean, I would really like to get some more of this. I think with the manga finishing last year, like you said, it's like now is a really good time for us to maybe get more seasons of this, to maybe promote the sales of like the completed manga in a collection or something. But I don't know. Like, and if they were to do more episodes, maybe they could have longer runtime so they could flesh out more. Maybe, wipe away whatever you were finding in this show that was just like, disturbing or whatever. This show, for all that you're saying about it, I thought it was pretty tasteful. The jokes hit pretty hard. I mean, hit where they were supposed to most of the time. I thought it was pretty funny in a lot of episodes, especially like I said, like any episode revolving around Uzuki. She was genuinely really funny. I liked every episode revolving around her. I guess, since this show is so short, we can do something we don't typically do and just do like a run through of each episode because, since the episodes were only like 2 minutes long,
We might as well. This podcast is literally longer than the entire series at this point.
Yeah. I mean, the series, I mean, I'll wait till the end for final impressions, but I do have a really favorable impression of this series. So first episode was the Umino Apartments. This is like the episode where they just introduce all the characters. They introduce Haruki and Yayoi at like, when the show starts, and like Yayoi is like, fell asleep on top of Haruki. I mean, I guess they were up late at night studying and stuff.
Yeah, having incest fantasies, I know.
No. This must have been where your whole idea about incest and stuff started, I'm guessing. But
it's not just me, it's everyone who's watched it.
Yeah, and then you get introduced to the twins, because I remember the twins come in and they start messing with Haruki's face, and then Yayoi wakes up and like, she hits Haruki, which is gonna happen a lot throughout the show. And then you get just a brief introduction to the older sister Mitsuki. I thought it was this is a really good first episode for an anime. In an anime, I would say the first episode is very important. And actually, in any kind of show, not just anime, any kind of show, first episode is really important because you have that episode to basically establish an interest, basically give your audience a reason to come back and continue watching. Do you feel like this first episode accomplished that?
No. I feel like this is 3 minutes of my life I'll never get back. And even the 3 minutes is a waste of time. And I truly believe with all of my heart, everyone, if you made it this far and you haven't watched this, don't watch this. Just don't watch this. I wouldn't recommend this to my worst enemy. Even people that like anime, this is not worth anyone's time.
What do you feel like this episode could have done differently to change your mind about it?
Set up an actual storyline with real characters and have an actual plot that is
like. Are you talking about like a serialized storyline where the storyline carries on throughout the entire
doesn't even need to be serialized? Something interesting just has to happen. Look at the first episode of One Punch Man. Something interesting happens even though the next episode doesn't necessarily directly tie in.
Yeah, but that's like a genre that is like,
it's a comedy.
Those action.
I'm not talking about even the action scenes, just the comedy scenes of like making the joke of the thing. I mean, there's not really much action.
Drop One Punch Man to a minute and a half, and what do you have?
You have the first minute of One Punch Man where the giant monster shows up and he one punches him, and it's fucking awesome and hilarious and cool.
Yeah, but you have to like remember that this is slice of life, so it's not a action comedy like One Punch Man.
Yeah, so something needs to happen besides incest,
huh?
So something needs to happen besides incest.
What about this first episode at least gave you incest vibes?
Well, for one, it's just like literally just a weeb in his house with a bunch of fucking sisters. So there's nothing interesting that could possibly happen, even feasibly, if that's your question. In a perfect world, this premise will never work because this premise is so stupid.
And you know what? That's kind of what made me really like it, is the fact that the premise itself is nothing special, but they managed to do something pretty awesome with it.
It's disturbing and creepy. What does the show name even mean again?
Huh?
Do we know what the show title means?
Actually, no, I don't. You want to look that up?
I have no idea.
Oh, actually, yeah, it's right here. Like it literally means big difference.
Stupidest
So,
shit I've ever seen.
well, okay, let's go to episode 2, the twins' homework. This is actually one of my favorite episodes, mainly because of how it ends. So, well, just to get just to jot your jar your memory on this. This episode was the one where the twins were like given that a homework assignment of they had to write about their family. And like I remember at one point they walk into like the bathroom like when Yayoi was getting dressed and stuff, and they just said our sister Yayoi pads her bra or something.
Yep, making it overly sexualized, of course.
Oh, you got like so after that they go sit at the table, and Mitsuki basically tells them do your homework properly and stuff. So then they start writing about Haruki and how his hand was consumed by some dark cloud or something. uh, the part of it that was like the funniest to me was at the end of the episode where like Haruki was reading the teacher's notes, and he's like, "This was a really well written report, but what is with your brother in this dark guy?"
I don't even know what you're laughing about. I honestly, like, there has to be something wrong with your head to enjoy this. The only type of people I know, like, that enjoy this type of show have some type of cognitive dysfunction. I think it's just you have to be a little slow in the head, and then you enjoy like this type of comedy.
No, I mean, I thought you didn't laugh at that at all. That was fun. Like at least the end of the episode.
No.
Did you laugh with the teacher's comments about the dark god and stuff?
No, I don't really find anything remotely funny about any of this.
Oh man, I guess maybe it's like an acquired taste in humor and stuff.
Yeah, it's called people that are fucking stupid. Like you have to be dumb in the head. Like you have to be a little slow. Like I would say autistic, but that's kind of offensive. But it's kind of true. People that like autism have like they really like this type of anime. So like I my personal life, I've known a lot of people that are really obsessed with this. Not trying to diagnose you with anything, but if you enjoy this type of humor, I mean, it really says something about how your brain works, and it's not a good thing.
I mean, maybe it does, because I found like a lot of moments in this show genuinely hilarious. Like, I found it even more funny today. I forgot how funny some of the moments in the show could be until I went back and watched it, because I hadn't watched it since last year. So yeah, going back, it was kind of like refreshing to see some of the jokes, like because the jokes I really do feel like they hit when they're supposed to and stuff. And that episode was probably the embodiment of that. Although there's some really funny stuff that happens in other episodes too. Episode 3 is Mitsuki's True Colors, and this
that's the episode. Is that the one where there actually is incest, or with the bathtub?
There is the whole thing. Like she had to take a shower, and
Yep. Actual incest is heavily implied there.
No, I don't think that was the one where she had to take a shower and she forgot her towel. Let me read this one. Haruki comes home to find Mitsuki asleep in his room. She rapidly changes into her usual formal self when Yayoi and the sisters arrive. When he finds her relaxing in his room again after her bath, he bemoans the fact. Oh yeah, so this is the one where, like, because there was a point later in the episode where
she's walking around naked. Don't you find that disgusting?
No, she was not walking around naked. She
listen. Let's just take it away. Like I mean, separate. Like let's
take
it to the real world.
Towel, then
No. I'm saying like let's like look at this show from a real life perspective, not like a dumbass like degenerate weeb perspective. Let's look at it from like a reality perspective. People that don't watch anime, anyone who doesn't watch anime is gonna think this is the most disgusting shit they've ever seen, and they would think anyone who likes anime is fucking disgusting.
Well,
And
but
if and
the thing
having
is, as anime
you
watcher,
as someone that has sisters, don't you find like if this was you, would this not be disgusting?
this is like I think the show like the
You want to have this kind of relationship with your sister. You would want that to happen with your sister.
well the thing is I
I'm
mean
saying this is disgusting, bro. This is wrong.
no
I get it's an
like
anime, but this is just stupid. If this is real, this would be disgusting.
this is I didn't find anything like anywhere because the thing is I wasn't like you'd have to look for it to find it, and if you look hard
No,
enough for anything you're going to
no.
find it.
If you look
uh,
at it from like an objective perspective, like again, I've been viewing a lot of anime. It's one thing to get caught up in like to the like your weebness and like be a part of this. And I get it. I do. I really do. But like the thing is there are lines of things that are like appropriate or funny, and this is just stupid. It's one thing to make like pedophilia jokes and incest jokes, but it's another thing when there's literally
there was
nothing else
no
besides that.
pedophilia and
I wish there
incest
was.
jokes.
Plus, I'm
There-
okay with like the little occasional dabbing of that stuff, like when it's not the focus, not when it's
dude,
not the
it was
premise.
not even
But it's
remotely in
literally
this show
the
at all. You
premise.
you were seeing that because that's what you wanted to
So
see.
all there was to see, bro.
No, no.
There was literally it's just that with the premise with little stupid mini stories based around it of them doing nothing to facilitate weird situations where they can be in their bikinis. Like, it's stupid.
No, we haven't gotten to the bikini episode yet. Don't worry, we'll get there. But I guess we'll go to episode 4. Bill, that's about the curry and rice. That's the one where they go shopping, and the twins were wanting to get spicy curry, but they kind of chicken out at the end. But I think they thought that they got the spicy curry anyway. Like they just were kind of like not looking forward to actually eating it. And then at the end, Mitsuki switches out their spicy curry for like just mild curry. I cannot see a single thing in this episode you could remotely associate with whatever the hell you think this show was. This show was just about them going shopping and then eating dinner. So, what about this episode did you find disturbing?
Everything, just not funny. Just incestual themes,
Oh boy,
pedophilia themes.
that's gonna. It seems like it's gonna be a theme for you for every episode.
It's that's every episode. I mean, I wish there was more to it. Like, it's one thing, like if you had like, oh yeah, like he's in love with his sister, but there was like a plot and other characters, that'd be one thing. But when it's literally the whole plot, I mean, there's really not anything to say. I don't even know why we're going through each episode. I mean,
I'm just going through each episode because I like talking about these episodes. These episodes were like, I thought they were good stories. I thought that a lot of them were funny. And and the final episode in particular, I do want to talk about because I thought that was pretty heartwarming. But we'll get there. Episode 5 is about Satsuki's anime clock. So actually, I remember. I remember why they called this Satsuki's anime clock. It's kind of in the episode. Uzuki basically she says at one point that Satsuki always knows what time her anime is going to come on even without a watch. So it's like she has this internal clock where she kind of always knows when her show's about to start. This was the episode with the DC guy manga that I was talking about. Like Haruki brings home that manga and he asked Satsuki if they could read it together, and Satsuki's like, "No, I'm gonna read it first." And then I think later in that episode, they do watch the anime. But like when the DC guy anime is about to come on, Haruki was thinking he was going to be able to sit down and watch it with Satsuki, but Satsuki goes off to play with Uzuki, and so Haruki just watches by himself. But I think it was like either the next day or the following week or something. All of them were sitting in was that their living room? I'm guessing their living room, and they were watching it together. And like Satsuki apparently rewatched the show like 3 or 4 times or something. And Haruki was looking over at Uzuki. He's like, "Aren't you gonna like get upset that she's watching the show?" And Uzuki, this is I think this was a good episode in showing how close Uzuki and Satsuki are because they're twins, but. It seemed at first, at least at the beginning of this episode, this was a lot to pit in a 2-minute episode too. This was a lot. it seemed at first that Uzuki kind of just was always boss, was always throwing a temper tantrum whenever Satsuki wasn't around and stuff. But it turns out like they understand each other so well that and it's because they're so young that made this a pretty like memorable moment. They kind of understand each other, and they like without even thinking about it, they compromise on when they can play together and when they have their own things they do and stuff. So I thought that was a really good episode. Did you have any criticism that doesn't involve incest or whatever the hell on this episode?
I think we're giving the show too much credit already.
No.
I think you just continue on. Like, I have nothing to say.
So the next episode was the siblings multiplication. This was about I think this was let me read this. Yeah, this was the one where Yayoi she was failing her test, so she was asking for help studying. But the beginning of this episode, it was funny because
this is one where they like get on top of each other and dry hump, right?
Oh, are you kidding me? That doesn't happen in any episode. It does not happen in any episode. There's no dry humping. I just want to make this clear for listeners who haven't seen the show that there is zero dry humping happening in this entire show.
Listen, if you want to watch a hentai anime, go watch a hentai anime.
Well, getting back
to actual incest, and usually it's not. I mean, sometimes it's like brother and sister, but usually it's done more tastefully, and there's even more of a story or plot to it. So,
no, it like the thing is like they like this whole episode was about Haruki helping Yayoi study for the most part. Yayoi didn't want Mitsuki's help studying because Mitsuki is like such a genius that she can't explain something.
I'm reading it here, and it says after a brief struggle, they fall, and he lands on top of her, just as someone walks in. So they were on top of each other in this.
Yeah,
episode.
But it was like he fell on top of her while he was trying to get her test away from her because he was trying to see what grade she got on her test.
And what was that implying? Was that
it wasn't implying anything?
Why was that funny? Why was there a misunderstanding? What would they think they were doing?
Well, yeah, the misunderstanding kind of implied a little bit of humor.
Sexual actions with his sister.
No,
sexual suggestion.
No, but that was the funny part is that like it was a misunderstanding, and like literally, like if she had walked in like even a second earlier, she would have saw that he was just trying to pry that test out of her hand and stuff, and she pulled it really hard, and like he ended up falling. So no incest there, just like your like any typical misunderstanding type of situation. We've seen this in other shows.
Yeah, but the only reason it would be the only reason it's like that moment exists is because it's literally like a male and a female in a sexual action, and they're brother and sister.
Yeah, but the misunderstanding is played up for humor. That's like literally all it is.
It didn't have to be brother and sister,
huh? You're right. It could have happened with anybody. Like that misunderstanding thing is just.
Remember the episode where the little girl pulls out the thong out of the drawer? That was also disturbing. Literally,
that was no. We'll get to that episode. That episode, and you're like eliminating all the context out of that situation because there is so much context to
disturbing.
that. And you just take
it's literally taking a literal
without
child.
Any context. You can make anything sound like crazy.
It's taking a literal child and it's doing a sexual thing in it to make a joke.
Well, the thing is, there was context that you skipped over. Like you skipped over half an episode's worth of context just to get to that one part, which we'll get there.
Oh my God.
So the next episode is the pool opening. The apartment complex's pool opening. Which you remember that's the one where Uzuki it was Uzuki and Uzuki and Satsuki, they had like a swimming class or something at school. And I think so they left and Yayoi and Mitsuki were kind of reminiscing about going to the beach or something or going to a swimming pool. And So they pull out a swimming pool that they used to play in when they were kids, and they set it up, and I think it was in their washing room or something. And I thought this whole episode, like at least that last part, was really funny because they all just hop in the swimming pool, but it was a swimming pool they were swimming in when they were kids, and they're all a lot older now, so they can barely fit in it. You see Mitsuki pretending like she's splashing, but her feet are outside of the pool. And then at the end, they all end up sick because it was way too cold to be trying to swim. I will say this much: that episode was, just at least the last half of it was just pure comedy. This episode probably like had the least amount as far as like exploring or developing any characters. It was just about a comical situation, but it was still a fairly funny episode, so I didn't mind it. And episode 8, definitely siblings. Well, this is the episode where that she pulled the thong out of the drawer that you were talking about. So, do you want to go into further context on that, or would you like me to?
There's no further context. Basically, one of the little girls thinks that they're not related, so she hopes to not be related. That way, she can fuck without having a guilty conscience.
No,
No,
you're adding stuff. You're adding stuff.
There's
nothing
the
about
whole
that
premise is disturbing. And at the end, it's it's okay. It's still incest.
No, well, let me clarify with actual context. So the episode starts with her. I think she was reading a manga or watching a show where the girl in I think it was in a manga. The girl in the manga turned out to not be related to her the family that she thought she was related to, and she ended up being like a princess or something. So Uzuki, well, actually, no, was it like Satsuki was the one at first that thought that she was not related to anybody in their apartment. I mean, in their family, and she thought she was like some secret princess or something. And then it turns out she they show her a picture of I think it was of her older sister Mitsuki when she was her age, and they looked exactly alike and stuff. So she's like, yeah, I guess we are related. But then Uzuki starts to think that maybe I'm not related because I don't look like anybody. And then Mitsuki ends up, I'm skipping over stuff. So to get to the context
listen,
was talking about with the thong, I'm getting there. So
your explanations is longer than the fucking episode, bro.
I know I'm bad explaining, but to get to the context about the thong, though,
she was just watching
through her mom. She was looking through her mom's drawer trying to find proof that she wasn't related to like her family, and that's why she was looking through her mom's drawer, and that's how she ended up pulling out a thong. She pulled a thong and like a sack of it was like a sack of money or something. She pulled a lot of stuff out of her mom's drawer, and she ended up finding this. I don't know what it was she found, but she somehow thought it proved that they weren't related. And then at the end, I think Mitsuki shows her a picture of their grandmother when she was younger, and she ended up looking like her. So she gave up on them not being related. The reason why I went to a lot more explanation in this episode is because the ending, I thought, was the perfect joke. They spent the entire episode setting up for that one joke at the end. Even though it was a minor joke, it's just because they spent the entire episode building up towards a minor joke that it ends up becoming major. When Yayoi starts talking about her terrible grades and how she must not be related to anybody because everybody else has good grades in the house. So there was context there. I just wanted to add that context because you mischaracterized that episode completely. Episode 9, For the Love of Pranks. This one was good.
I was reading the premise of this one, and I remember this one. The whole joke is that the younger sister basically admits that they're in love with the brother, and that's the joke because it was just a prank, even though that's literally admitting incest love.
No. You tried to mischaracterize this one too, but
it's literally in the fucking summary of the episode.
No,
Where
like,
basically
at the end of this
that's the
episode,
joke.
it's implied that even though she, pranks her brother a lot, that she doesn't hate him.
Yeah, she wants to fucking
No,
incest sister love him.
no.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
not where that episode went at all. That's nowhere near where the episode went.
Sadly, it is.
No. So I thought that was a good episode. It was like, that I think it was one of the few episodes where you get to see like a genuine bonding moment between Uzuki and Haruki. So overall, it was a pretty good episode that you're completely mischaracterizing. Episode 10, Mitsuki's Request. This is the episode about the kiss. So
More incest.
no, but there's so much context that you skipped over, so we'll go over it here. She
There's
was
no
about
point.
to be in a play. I don't know what. I think she was either going to be in a play for Snow White or Cinderella, but she thought there was a kissing scene in the play, and Mitsuki. This makes sense when you consider her character. She's always putting on this persona of perfection, so she can't ever let anybody other than Haruki see her not being absolutely perfect at everything.
This reminds me. There's I think in season 2 there's going to be a Sleeping Beauty play where she has to suck his dick to wake him up. And this is foreshadowing that moment.
No. Yeah, you're completely mischaracterizing this episode as well, because when you consider Mitsuki's character, which has been set up in prior episodes, that she only ever shows Haruki not at her absolute best, that she would come to Haruki to help her practice this. And Haruki even tells her like, I get that you're about to be in a play, but this is still like absolutely wrong and stuff. And then she realizes, oh, there's not even a kissing scene in the play, and she just lets it go. So it's in line with the character that was established with her. It was I don't think this one was as funny as previous episodes. This one really didn't have much humor to it. Mainly
hilarious if you like incest.
Huh?
It's hilarious if you like incest.
No, there was zero incest going on. Episode 11, and how Yayoi nurses. This is the one where Haruki ends up getting sick. And before we talk about this episode itself, I would like to mention one thing about this episode I've seen in a lot of anime, and it kind of like makes me scratch my head a little bit. How is it that when anime characters get sick, they all of a sudden become super weak? Like, this makes no sense. Like, Haruki, because he was sick, he didn't even have the energy to get up and walk to the bathroom. That was,
you must have never been very sick.
I have been very sick. I've been extremely sick. And you know what? It still doesn't make sense. And I'm like, because it happens in a lot of anime, not in just this show, but it happens in a lot.
When you have a bunch of bitches there to take care of you, of course you're not going to do anything. You just don't have a bunch of bitches to take care of you, or else you wouldn't get up either.
You're talking about his sisters, because all of them were at school. Remember, Haruki, he stayed in bed and he was trying to talk himself out of thinking that he had to go to the bathroom. And I don't even think it was because he was out of energy. I'm gonna say that it was because he was too lazy to get up and walk to the restroom. But that aside,
but one of them skipped school.
No, Yayoi, she I think she goes to school. She skips like practice, like for after school club or something.
Yeah, because she wanted to get home and fuck him early.
No, because she was worried about her brother. Which, I mean, like, considering how weak he was, maybe she should have been. He was too weak to go to the bathroom. He had to hold that in all day until she got home and could take him to the bathroom.
All right, let's wrap this up. Come on, I have things to do.
Episode 12 is the bond between Haruki and his sisters. So this starts off with them watching a horror movie.
This whole episode is just them laying in bed, fucking cuddling and kissing and shit, and then it ends with them all like laying in bed and planning that.
Where on earth do you get things? Like you did you even watch the episode, or did you just like? Oh, this is what the episode's definitely.
I watched some of these episodes twice because I had to rewatch them.
No, it doesn't sound like you watched them once, because wow, you watched something else completely. I don't even think we were watching the same show. This final episode, I wanted to talk about specifically because this episode is what I would consider a definitive final episode to a show like this. This episode takes everything that we learned about all these characters over the past 11 episodes and bundles it up into this one moment. You get to see like all the conflict that they've had in every episode, like in like little bits throughout this episode, and then you get to see that final bonding moment between Haruki and his sisters. I thought it was a genuine, touching moment.
The
Apparently
only thing
you
was
didn't.
touching was fucking the damn sister and the brother, while the little ones sit there and watch.
No, so I think at we can. I think I can at least agree that I don't know what the hell you watched, but maybe you were watching a different version of the show. You were probably watching a bootleg version of the show. But I guess we can go on and get to our best moments. So for I'll let you go first. What was your favorite moment in the show?
The intro theme and the end theme, because I knew it was time for the next episode, and then the final episode when the end credits rolled, and I knew that I can erase this shit from my memory.
Yeah, I'm not surprised you said that. For me, I'm gonna say, even though I thought the final episode was a pretty like touching moment, I'm gonna say my favorite moment was probably the one about the teacher and the dark god and stuff. That I watched that a few times just because I thought that episode was hilarious. But with that, I guess we can go to our final thoughts on the show. So, in closing, I mean, I'm guessing you didn't think much of the show. Would you recommend this to anybody?
Not only would I not recommend this, I want to make a public service announcement at this point. So, as I mentioned at the very beginning, I'm ashamed of you. Your mom's ashamed of you. If you have sisters, they're definitely ashamed of you. If you enjoyed this at all, you're a disgusting person and you should hate yourself. If you haven't watched it, never watch this. Have some self respect. This show is dog shit. One of the worst shows ever created. In fact, it's actually made by the company that developed it. It's called Creators Impact. I was looking over, they developed 16 different anime series. I'm just going to never watch any of them because this was so bad. So not only is this so bad, I also say if it says Creators Impact, a company involved with it, probably skip over it, never watch it, have nothing to do with any of these fucking garbage tier, whack ass, garbage backwards anime. And yeah, it's disgusting. And yeah, I feel dirty. I'm going to probably take a shower after this, like contemplate my life. I might actually retire being an anime fan over this.
All right, and I'm gonna get to my final thoughts. I obviously disagree with everything Solo said. I think that this is a show definitely worth watching, especially if you're looking for a short, either a short series. This is a very easy watch. You can watch all the episodes in about 30 minutes. It's about 12 episodes. It's about maybe 2 minutes tops per episode, so it's a very short watch. I would also say that it's for a slice of life, it's probably the most down to earth slice of life I've seen. These characters don't have anything particularly extraordinary about them. There's nothing particularly extraordinary about their lives. So I feel like because of the situations they're in and like, the type of people they are, they're more down to earth, more relatable, and you'd probably because of that be able to derive a lot more humor out of the show, and that maybe you've and gotten to experience the mundane situations that they go through in the show. So I would say my final thoughts, I would definitely recommend this. At least give it a few episodes, probably take 5 minutes of your time, and if you don't like it by episode 3, then maybe it's not for you. So with that being said, this is going to be the final episode in this format. We're going to
wait. We have to do the My Anime rating. I'm saying 2 out of 10.
No, I'm going to
2
say
out of 10.
I'm going to say
10.
7.
2 out of 10.
I think the
2
show
out of
seriously
10.
deserves a 7.
I'm already on.
I'm not going to say the show's perfect, but I'm going to say
2 out of 10.
I think the show legitimately does a 7.
2 out of 10.
We're going to probably go with a 7. So
I say 2 out of 10.
I tell you what, I will meet you part way, and we can go with 6.
6 is a fine on my anime rating. This is not fine. This is not average. It's not even bad. It's very bad, which is it's horrible. You know what? I'll meet you at a 3. 3 is the highest I will go. We're giving this a 3. I'd rather watch No Guns Life episode 1 literally 10 times in a row. At least that episode almost seemed intriguing. It's the series that fell off after that. And I can't in good conscience give this a higher rating than No Guns Life.
No,
I can't do it.
I'm gonna definitely say
I can't do it. This is the worst anime that we've covered. It has to be a 3.
No,
it has to be a 3.
Nothing. I mean, like this.
It has to be a 3.
We are completely split on this. I think we should at least go with a 4. That's like, pretty much smack dab in the middle of what I wanted to give and what you.
Okay, here. Well, I'll put it as a 4. But if anyone listened to this podcast to this far on audio or on YouTube, please leave a comment or send an email to noobandsolo@gmail.com telling me your actual rating. Also, tell me if I'm an asshole or if Noob is a fucking weeb that needs to get a life and stop recommending shitty anime to cover.
Yeah, and you know what? I would.
You can also email us if you have other recommendations, because the format is changing, which I think Noob wants to explain.
Yeah. So this is going to be the last episode we do in this particular format. We're still working out like changes in the format, but we want to like basically streamline the show for the future. So with this will be the last episode of podcast we do this month. And after this, we're going to monthly, right?
Yep.
So like we're gonna be just doing one a month. I'm still going to be pitting out some just weekly.
And I want to do my Dress Up Darling next, which is actually a master slice of life anime with actual down to earth characters that aren't really special, but they're made special, which is the point of slice of life, is it takes ordinary things and makes them extraordinary. That's the beauty of slice of life, and it's one of the best slice of life anime. Sure, it has the romance in it, which the best slice of life have romance in them anyways, instead of like love mans with their sisters, and that's an actual good quality show we can talk about.
Yeah. So look forward next month to my Dress Up Darling. We'll see you then.